Hi everyone, wishing all of us a very happy new year and 2024, the year of the wood dragon. So just been feeling into the collective energy, this shift of course that we are always making, but as it kind of comes together, you can there are days when you can really feel that shift in more powerful ways. So that's been happening for a couple of days, but even more of course with all the wishes that are going around and this feeling that it's new year if you follow the Gregorian calendar, that is, because in that sense, for the masculine that lives at the level of form, this is the new year. Okay, so, but as the flow of energy, which can be sensed, from the subtle, which is the feminine energy, it's always kind of like a time frame. So we've been sensing into that, right? So from August onwards, when we deepen, we go into that contemplative state, you see nature's kind of really settling down, and now it's kind of rising, right, into the next level of its cycle. So New Year as a date, we can sense it's coming forth, and then till about February, and then after that, when we really see spring, when the flowers bloom and new leaves are sprouting. So that is when at the masculine level it begins, and this is like that feminine, that phase, this window from January 1st, whether you celebrate this as your new year or if you sense it in this time frame till February, even till end of February one may say. And that's why for us in our culture, we celebrate Sankranti, Yugadi, that comes later. It's all this, that harvest time. Like it's like when we celebrate the new bounty, of life, the abundance of life that's coming. So if you're sensing this, then this window is very potent. It has this energy of really kind of anchoring in, right? So we also feel that when we have resolutions and this first month, and we know, we somewhere within, like, my life has been calling me to shift into this, right? So it's that energy. So this is a very potent time. Yeah, so this year is the year of the wood dragon. Okay, so I've been feeling into the energy of this, but before we begin, again, always, the intention that was really coming through was for this to be really a felt experience. Even though we are doing this, it looks like at the video, whenever you find this video, it doesn't matter, because the core of what is coming through from the field is at the level of consciousness. It's timeless. So whenever you find this, it's relevant for you, and you will sense that, you'll resonate with that, whatever that may be. But very important, right? It's arising from this field that is here, that feeds us, the same field that we are, right? Consciousness. So the intention that was coming forth for me was really to kind of feel as we move through this together, right? So very key. Again, simple centering practice, just for a few minutes, is to just kind of really make sure we are seated somewhere. Take the time. This is fun. This is so fun. I really want to name this because, sometimes, and I know this because I have lived this, we can be in that informational mode, which is fine as well, right? The mind goes through all cycles. But it's like sometimes we just take in information and we feel if we know that. No. When we feel into this, Because what we are doing is actually, we are sensing into our own state of mind, state of being, level of consciousness. And that reveals to us a lot. So I made another video about subtle sensing, one of my previous videos. You can go ahead and take a look at that, as practices to subtly sense that which we are, that which life is. So this is the invitation for that. So ideally, if you can, I highly recommend that you take time to kind of find a few minutes before you go to bed or in the afternoon, whenever, kind of sense into this. So taking a comfortable seat in a space where you won't be disturbed, hopefully. Taking the attention to the breath, letting everything be wherever, however. Taking the attention to the breath, really coming into our body. We need to stretch out the body a little bit. Just observe the breath. Allow the belly to soften. Feel your hips. Feeling our thighs, lower back. And just stay open to sense there's a beautiful connection between the breath and the point in the depth of our womb. Right? It's alongside with the spine. Rest of the body is at ease. Keep your shoulders at ease. Jaw loose. Tip of the tongue naturally resting on the top. Palate, behind the front teeth. Relax. With every breath, just allow for the relaxing to happen of the scalp, skull, feel into the meaning of the word steady. Stable. In yoga, they say the essence of Stira Sukham Asana. Steady, light, aware. Right, and let this awareness now open up from your belly, like this listening space. These are simple practices, really, that can shift the way we perceive life and experience life. Right, so this is a very simple practice that I'll share. You can do through your day. Generally, we are listening from our ears, from the top of our head. Just a few minutes, right? Just this few minutes. Taking a breath, coming into the body. Just listen, not from your ears, from here, from the top of your head, but listen from this feeling space from your belly. The more you listen from this space, your resonance to what anybody is sharing will sharpen. Be clear. You'll sense what resonates for you. Right? So feel that in your belly. If it really helps, I always say, little things we don't, because when we live as form, we don't see this. And when we live as energy, you really see that every moment, movement of the body is like a symbolic, it's like a mudra, right? So just even placing your hand on your belly creates that connection, right? And also if you want to place your hand on the heart, this is one of the most grounded, heart opening available body mudras. And you feel into this stance, right? Because sometimes you are, wherever you might find yourself, you might not be able to do this, let's say. I would still say, do it if you're called to do it. But I'm saying, if you cannot, then as you do it regularly, you'll feel that literally there's an energetic connection, conduit system that comes into place. Your grounded space of aware wisdom awakens in and through the body as intuition. And then your heart stays open to what arises in your space. This allows you to be an open heart space, like listening. It's a beautiful space to be, if you can sense this. So from here, I want to just share the question of how and if at all, or you're invited to, if you find yourself here at this point, to sense into the energy that is arising. Staying present right here. Have you been feeling this dragon energy? Can you open up to feeling it? You don't even have to call it dragon, right? If that word brings up things. Just your energy, where is it? What is it bubbling up as? Right? It's the same energy that you might feel when you know the new year is beginning. Maybe you have resolutions, goals, if you do at all, things, sensing into that. So now, whether at the individual level or at the collective level, we are sensing into this dragon energy and really sensing it at the level also at the collective, because each heart and each soul, as you know that we're going through this time of awakening and transformation. Each of our hearts, right? It's the same consciousness, oneself uniquely is calling in this higher energies to come forth and ground itself as new reality. Right? We're moving through this phase. So this is the essence of the dragon energy. The dragon energy can be felt as this when this energy matures and kind of is ready to take flight. Right? It's a powerful energy. See, the personal mind many times can also put, and you may sense it like this, right? You may sense and see a dragon as if it's outside of yourself. If you really look in ancient times, that's why you would see everything is symbolic. Anything that you perceive, the mind, right, it puts it outside. So you see that to be symbolic. There's a breathing dragon next to you. So people in the ancient cultures where they would share stories, right, because the mind that vibrates at the personal level is living and relates to concepts. So it needs stories. And that means at the level of stories, it is playing at the level of form. So you'll see these stories with ancients, these, this energy and this power that has, they rode on dragons. Right? These fiery, fire-breathing dragons. So it's that kind of an energy. That's really felt. Because at the collective level, we are awakening from one level of reality that has lived as the personal thought mind and waking up into our truer reality of that which we are, timeless, the level of consciousness, the level of energy. At the level of almost like a roar, right? Like I am. That's the energy, the dragon. You feel. And of course, nothing is outside of us. That which we sense into, right? And this is in the context for the personal mind. Anything that we've seen outside that we resonate with, when we're unconscious, we don't realize, we think it's outside of us. It is when we sense into it, we are vibrating as that. So to feel into that, right? And what is the beauty of this dragon energy that we have called forth, each of us from our heart, right? Because consciousness is moving and living, while the personal thinks it is doing, which it's uniquely experiencing. That is why you see in the world so many questions, so many people seeking, so many awakening. Is this life? Is this the world we want to live? Is this what I want to create for myself and the ones around me? Right? All of that. It's a phenomena. It's a taste. It's a age. Kalpa, we say in Sanskrit. It's a time frame we are going through, and that's why you see so much talk about manifestation, reality, quantum science, time, space, the nature of time, all facets. Each of us uniquely exploring it, and many times if we are identified with the person, then we will identify, saying that as if it's like the person doing. It's actually just consciousness. That one divine self, that which we are, is experiencing so beautifully through each of us. And as each of us live and deepen into that, wherever, if you're identified still as a personal mind that you may think you are, whether you've arrived or not, or all those things, or I don't know, doesn't matter. You have no idea that which you are and what your energy is gifting to the world. So truly feel into that. Every question, everything that you've sought for, you have knocked on the door for, you have knocked for all of us. So feel into that, right? So it's that. And that collective energy is now like peaking. It's like a wave. Right? So that's where we are. So this dragon energy, so I want you to sense into it. And just every mind shares its own. So this is one of the first videos that you're watching. Very, very clear. I want to be every mind, state of mind is a play of its own awareness and perception, and therefore its expression arises from that. Right? Very key. Trust your own resonance always. The way that it is sensed here, this dragon energy, is the thing about dragon energy is that it is able to hold both worlds very beautifully, powerfully. It's a transmutative energy that moves from one to the other while it's going through the next cycle. So if you see dragons, their legs are, and the lower part are strong, right? Their tail, if you really look at it, navigates as it moves. So there is a deep strength in that grounded energy. So feel that in your body, like in your hips, in your lower chakras, in your legs. Another practice. Let's do this together, right? Always when you come into your body, just open your palms, place it on your thighs, and just feel into that, right? You want to rock your hips. Feel into the strength of your legs, into your hips, your buttocks, right? The gentle area, the hips. That's the manifested feminine space, embodied space. So the dragon energy knows very, 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 very well that if it needs to fly or take its most expansive leap, it cannot do it standing on one foot, right? It has to be here. It has to be embodied. So it's a beautiful energy that holds the paradox very well. At every level. I'm consciousness that is untouched by experience, right? Pure consciousness that we can't speak about. And manifest level, right? At the relative level, I'm here to play, right? That kind of energy. And even otherwise, at the level of manifested consciousness, it can be sensed as the feminine and the masculine. I can do both. It can hold both very, very easily. Right? So it is this energy, and the dragon energy is one that can, that's why, move and hold and jump into realms. So in the ancient cultures, dragon energy was invoked as the riding tool, like the Merkaba, one may say, right? From this, my body may be here, everything may be here, but this is the shamanic energy, if you can say, the indigenous, all of this, if you look at even Tantra, right? Tantric practices, all these knew this. So you can move from here in the body, you can travel realms, right? And you don't fall off, you're steady, you know how to hold, you know how to move, you know how to come back. You're not grasping or clutching to anything else, because the dragon energy is like this fiery energy which is like Shakti and knows I am all that is. It's like the cosmic mother dragon energy. And you can feel into that. So that is the energy of this year. And again, this is very nuanced, right, for each of us. So sense it however it arises for you. It's not the same for each expression, which is uniquely and perfectly flowing the way that it needs to. How are you sensing into this dragon energy? Because it's not just one thing. I want to very clearly name this, because another way to look at this, the dragon energy, is that, when the dragon lands in a new realm, new state of being, new state of mind, he is kind of creating her home there. Right? So she's showing me right now, right? So she's got her talents or this thing like in that new home. This is my space. I am here. she's got that. So it might be that for you. It might be that for you. That you've created space already and you are breathing into that space. Right? She's creating that space, that she's sensing, because she knows, the dragon mother, like especially when, how you see creatures, right? When you're nesting or you're going to have babies or whatever you call as your home, it's an energetic field. You sense into that space, is this for me? Is this, even beyond safety, like just feeling into that. So you might have landed into some new space, right? If you've taken that, then feel into that. So you might just need to just be. So the dragon energy is not always about moving forward. It's about breathing into this new space as well. So feel into this, however this energy feels for you, right? And wood dragon. So wood is the element, right? So consciousness that dances at the level of manifestation dances as elements. So everything that is manifest at the level of elements, right? The 5 elements that you will really see. And the wood again points to this grounded energy. Right? At the manifest level, it's life-giving. It's such a powerful combination of embodied ascension, like the evolution, the sensing of that. So that is coming up as this dragon energy. So if you can sense, that's why when the dragon takes space, very key, feel into this. And the reason, one of the key reasons of feeling into this while you're doing this is because you will know for yourself where things are off for you, and then you can write it down. You can feel it within you, right? We are wisdom, right? We are consciousness, so we know. Only we know ultimately. So feeling into that, right? Where am I? And you'll sense into this consciousness as a unique expression, because each of us are like that piece of the puzzle, right? The energy is moving through us in every moment, of course, uniquely, but it also concurrently at the relative level is like a theme. So what is that is unfolding right now? So sensing into that as well. And that fire that breathes, is breathe, that you see the breathing fire, breathing dragon, that fire comes from the womb. It is from the strength of the womb that the power of the fire is. Right? Agni, in Sanskrit we say Agni. In Rig Veda, that's why the first chapter starts with praying to Agni. It is akin to our true nature as awareness, light, living power. Right? Agni, it's like a burning that is living life. So sensing into that, really sensing into that. So a chakra perspective, right, to offer for, this is again looking at the same things, holding different symbols. Everything that we explore in that sense is looking at the same thing that which we are as consciousness, but through a different lens. Like what we say, you look at Kala, you're looking at time and space, right? You're looking at consciousness and how it flows as time and space, as the yugas, right? So you'll see a different face of her, that I am, right? And then you look at her as Shakti, as power. You look at her as nature, right? How she arises, how she's living and celebrating herself. This, again, dragon is the same, her energy. So from the chakra perspective, if you will, if we can kind of sense into it, it's the same, right? In order to rise like the phoenix rising from the ashes, we say. We move from one level of awareness once we are done experiencing it. It's a natural phenomena, ebb and flow. Again, if this is one of your first videos, watch my seeking video. I'll go ahead and put all those links down there in the description. But every time we move into the next evolved state of being or mind, right, that level of this fierceness is required. That is why at the level of the chakras, we can really feel the Devi energy as Kali, right? That fierceness. But this fierceness is her waking up to her own ways, right? Of how she has been living in a denser level, right? So that experience is over. So you wake up. So it's the Durga, Kali, right? All these are those aspects, like waking up from that. So feeling into that. It's like the cosmic mother dragon energy, right? Waking up, really waking up from that, in that sense. So at the level of chakras, that's why I've shared a couple of practices. And just simply keep a light attention, because it's already happening. We're not making anything happen, right? So keeping it there. The other thing that is coming up is very, very powerful. And like I said, simple practices that can be life-changing. So for the breath, let me tell you. Let's do the dragon breath. Okay. The dragon breath, again, same, coming into the body. Feeling from the depths of the womb, and you're breathing. Like a deep breath, right? From your nose. If you want initially, you can do it from your mouth to kind of feel into it. And you're breathing from the back of your throat. You can feel the back of your throat. This is also called as the Gamma breath. Ever heard Bashar speak about that? If anybody follows Bashar, he speaks about this. The Gamma breath, right? It's actually symbolically the dragon breath. It is as the level of Kala, Shiva, Kali, right? It's that Rudra energy. We know that, like the Rudra face of Shiva. Feels, right? Wakes up, that kind of energy. So this is the breath. When you breathe from here, you directly awaken your vibratory state of your mind to literally connect to the higher self. And I'll explain that, how it is depicted in mythology, in the Indian mythology. Okay, we'll get to that. But do this breath from the back, right? So your attention is not about breathing from the tip of the nose. You're breathing, main part of your breath is from the back. Initially, very helpful to make this sound as well. There is something that happens within sound. We are sound. So when we make this deep breath, vibration gets activated in a certain way. It's the breath of fire. It's like the breath, right? It has that power. So that breathing, so feeling it into our body. That's why if you ever find yourself, right, in a space where, let's say, you're getting on a stage, or if you're stepping into spaces and you feel the butterfly in your tummy, this is a powerful breath just for a few minutes. Right? Just get steady into your body, feel the womb, feel the breath, and breathe. Amazed. You're doing this with me so you can feel it. You know, this connects us to those aspects of us that we may not have access to looked at. Many a times when we are moving as this thinking mind, or you know this, right, mind-breath connection, flitting about in the world at the top level, the breath becomes shallow. That's the state of the mind. And that state of the mind is that vibratory state of the mind of the ocean where the waves are. So we live as everything is phenomena. Everything is phenomena. Once we see it with clarity, the game is over. The game is over. These simple practices we do awakens to us to that deeper aspect of it. This is the dragon breath. We really feel that, right? And the more and more we do that regularly, again, lifestyle change, we can feel that. Right? So this is one, and when I was doing this, I want to share, because she appears as visions, and it's called so. See the cosmic mother dragon. She's landed, she's breathing, right? So there are two aspects in this. One is, of course, when you're ready to go do something. The other one is also when you see a dragon, or if you've seen animals, like I see my cat doing this, right? When the cat is sitting, she's so at ease at home and her belly is breathing, but she's taken her space. So she's showing me that. You know, when we awaken as Shakti, as the I am, all is life, awareness, this mother energy that awakens within you is such a powerful, protective energy of your world. Not the kind that forces, but stands, you know, for existence itself. For her children, right? You can sense into that. She's showing me that, like, you know, there are her dragon eggs, and she's settled. She knows she is her world, right? She doesn't need to do anything in that sense. She's sitting there and she's breathing at ease. She's got this deep breath. She's creating space for her children. Don't mess with me. Right? Don't mess with me or my children, because, you know, she'll probably just roar and blow a little fire at you, right? she's got that energy. And she's also sharing this, that while we're speaking about all of this, she's saying this dragon energy is also very playful. If you've seen young dragons, and you know how, if you sense into them and how they play. So this is not like that, just that fierce energy, right? It's like this very playful energy as well, because she knows all that is her. There's nothing outside of her, right? So she's kind of just as well showing that. And another thing, depending on where you're sensing, right, whether we are clairvoyant or clairaudient, and we all have, right, because if we are consciousness, we just don't know, but we are all psychic. We only experience it in our own way, our own style. Some may be stronger, some may be not. But if you are the kind who sees this as colors, so when you kind of can have a practice, another practice is you can sense into her. One of the beautiful ways is, right, of course, right, art. Right, art is a powerful way to sense into what is simmering as energy within us. So if you're called to, to sit and just do this, and these kind of practices are great to do with our kids or anybody, right? But even with our kids, to just kind of sit and sense into what kind of dragon energy are you sensing within you. Can you draw that out? However, right? And then we can also sense the color of the dragon. Right? If you see the typical Chinese dragon color, it's like the red, right? It's passion, right? This fierceness, when it's conscious, this is pure passion for living life. I am life. Kali's tongue out is an unapologetic way of saying, I am life and I'm here to taste all of life, all experiences. Nothing is outside of me. I live as all states of mind. Right? It's that. So, even the dragon, right? The red, when we are conscious, there's only either unconscious way of relating or conscious. So, when we are unconscious, this kind of energy, the red, is related to as fear, right? Danger. So, then we sense the dragon, we can invoke the dragon if that happens, right? If you sense that energy. That's when the mind was in Kali Yuga, vibrating at the level of Dwapar Yuga. That is an experience, a valid experience we as consciousness experience as whatever that is, right? Like fear, or we feel lesser than. Then these practices came into place by the shamans and the elders and the ancients, right? I mean, that is when the God is above us came into existence. So now the dragon then is invoked as a symbolic dragon next to you. And that's when you hear the words as the dragon protects you, right? Because we need that protection at that time, because our energy is vibrating at that level. We cannot comprehend at that time that we are the energy and that all there is us, right? That we are the reality oneself. So that is good. So sense into this, right? And one more thing that I want to name again and again, because these are foundational, even at the cost of a long video, I would say. Be honest with where your energy is at, unapologetically, knowing that you are consciousness. Right? When we don't know, we play at the level of hierarchy, then that's the personal play, We want to be there, right? Of course we want to be in our expansive self. Come on, who doesn't want to be, right? But then many a times we are not honest about what is really brewing in the body, right? This is simply phenomena. That's why I say hold the paradox. At the level of consciousness, nothing means anything about me. And at the level of manifest consciousness, at the level of the relative play, I'm tasting. That's all it is. And all of life is waking me up. So to be very honest with where my energy is. Okay? Because this creates the pathway to really clearly move through everything. It's not about forcing. It's not about pushing. It's about being with that. Right? One of the ways, like, what do I believe? What do I believe about me or life or this world or others? What do I believe? That and not about making it wrong, right, I think, because what is a lived experience in that moment is valid for us. So holding that, and sensing into it. Because we are pure life and it's guiding, right? That energy is guiding us. So very, very, very key. So when we are in that space where we feel the need for the practices for safety and protection, take it. Because that becomes the pathway to seeing for our own self. Because in the end, everything is lived experience. Right? Everything else anybody else might say. Our lived experience is what we desire anyways. So trust that. This time, if there's one thing I can say about this energy, is that dragon energy, however you want to name this is trust. I will trust myself. I will wobble, I will hobble, But ultimately, I'll trust myself. And this will never lead you astray. Because this is it, right? So the red, so when we are conscious, when we are unconscious, then it can mean all of this, right? The red can mean it can give us power, as in we have that, that's faith in a bigger power than us, all of that. But as we start getting conscious about that which we are, this now dragon is not next to us, it is us, right? So then it's like this passion for living life. You wake up to what is flowing through me, as in the body, right? I am, right? To sense, you really sense it to that, and you move through that. So I want you to feel into this dragon energy, and then again, depending on where you find yourself, that's why I want to bring it back to colors, because I'm speaking about the red dragon and this thing, but the dragon is life. It's the unfolding of life energy. So you might experience the dragon in different colors because that is the current theme for you in that moment. Trust that above all. So it's a beautiful also practice. That's why if you're doing this with your kids or with anybody else or in a group, just sitting to even sense, and you're not doing anything. You're allowing your dragon energy to reveal itself to you. Right? So that's why sensing into this energy. What is this dragon energy, right? So it might be like this lower chakras, right? Red, orange, yellow, right? Manifest. I am manifest. Right? That kind of energy. It's not the I am going to be doing the manifesting. Just my existence is I am manifest as consciousness. And then it might be green, it might be this green and blue. That is the very compassionate, right? The mother dragon, the blue, the healing, right? So that dragon, immediately, if you are a visual, this thing like me, like I can see, right? Like immediately the color of the eyes of the dragon change. There's this, because these are all like archetypes, right, within us, right? So when you come here from Kali, Durga, like we can say, Lakshmi, and then you have this Saraswati, right? Like you're just opening into this like the Kuan Yin energy, right? Just compassion, this divine word, right? The word that comes forth is to heal, is to support, or is to speak the truth when nobody else is speaking, right? All that gets activated. And then of course, then there is the cosmic energies of the chakras, as you can see, the third eye, right? The one that sees with clarity, and then the violet dragon, right? It's the same with the chakras, which we call as the 1,000-petal chakra, crown chakra. And that is the cosmic mother, right? The divine, the celestial dragon, one may say. So when we wake up, and I'm going to name this, that the dragon you might see might not be one color at all. At least it's not for me. So I call myself as the unicorn colored dragon. It's like the shimmering, she's got all colors. And I see, I sense what is alive in that moment. She arises as that. She arises as that. And that is actually what you're living in the moment. So you're not holding a concept of, oh, I'm just the red dragon, or I'm the blue dragon. You wake up your life in that moment as the divine tool. What comes forth through from you, whether it appears from outside as sitting in silence, or whether it is expressing something or doing something, doesn't matter. The energy of that vibration of your awareness that is radiating into the world is not a concept. It's that innate intelligence. So sometimes it's like this, sometimes it's like that. That's why very important to sense with it. Right? Because we can be any dragon at any point. Okay, and one of these that I really want to share with is connect this dragon energy to the snake energy. Because with the word celestial, the key thing about this is that we are right now waking up from our one-dimensional experience, which is the experience of the personal, that is the experience of living as the reptilian brain, we may say, all of that, right? From the 5 senses, waking up. And whether you hear it in the words of awakening to our true self, moving from 3rd density to 5th dimension, it's about waking up from that one-dimensional reality, that which we are, to waking up to seeing I am multi-dimensional as consciousness. At the level of manifested consciousness, my focus and awareness is not just as this body and this experience of this world. I concurrently live, create different worlds. This is very, very exciting and very, very key, because now literally the whole one mind, that is the worlds, infinite worlds, open to us right now. That is what it means to live timelessly in this moment. From this, I wanted to bring it back to the connection of the dragon energy and the snake energy, right? They're both symbols that can be looked at in the same way, right? So I want to bring it back to the kundalini. So one of the visions that I really had at the collective level was the accelerated rate at which kundalini is rising, right? Whether we experience it at the level of the body or we experience it at the level of the collective, it's one, everything reflects each other, mirrors each other. So it is amazing, amazing. So that's why so grateful whether the thinking mind gets it or not. Every time you stand and move as that which you are, wherever you might find yourself, you are doing it for the world. Know that, right? And so many are now, let's say, I share this in my meditation thing as well, right? People ask, I say, we are standing and experiencing this because we're standing on the shoulders, which we know, of our elders, of the people who have carved the path, right? Of all these gurus, higher energies and everything. I'm all speaking at the context of the relative right now. So that is why we are having this. We are having this portal wide open, so easy, so the vision was like, it's like I did just blew and the door went wide open, right? The door that otherwise was said by consciousness that takes lifetimes. So we are at that time right now where consciousness, the veil is so thin. We are waking up to realizing that we are the higher energies, right? We are the archangels. We are the guides that we see, that we think are outside of us. We are the gods and the goddesses, the devas and the devis, ourselves, like literally at an experience. And we are the stars. We are the celestial body of being. Right? So that is waking up to our multi-dimensional self. So this is the same, like the dragon energy and the snake energy is about that. So it's the rapid ascension that is experienced as the kundalini is rising, right? Again, I want to name something with this. Do not force, please, because that's when all these things happen and you're doing, it's already happening. Enjoy the process. And if this resonates, invoke that feeling within you that this can be a very pleasurable and blissful and ecstatic experience of me awakening and embodying this. Why not hold this? At the level of mind, everything is an idea that creates the vibration. Everything is a belief in that sense. Everything is a dream. Why not hold the most expansive dream, right? So in the tantric practices, right, from my culture and my lineage especially comes from Kashmir. So shown like it's the tantric practice of Kashmir Shaivism. So the old ancient practices that were secret practices, right? So when you open up, this is another exciting thing. That is what I'm called to share with the world, is that you stand as sovereign authority. Feel the dragon energy in this. She's pure sovereign authority, right? Pure sovereign authority, right? To trust our own self, right? So in this, these are secret practices. So then your inner doors open up to your own wisdom. And one more beautiful thing about dragon, right? So much to share. It's like, the thing about dragon energy that I really want to share is that, which I love, is that it holds this ancestral lineage at the level of the body, time, wherever we find ourselves. It's connected to our timeline of our ancestral energy, whether to this body or even at the soul level. There is a soul ancestral lineage, right? And we'll find those teachers coming into our life to awaken us in mysterious ways, right? So there are many lines to this, multidimensional. One is of this body being born, in which culture, right? That has its ancestral wisdom that awakens. Then at the soul level, we have an ancestral lineage that belongs to the, what one may say, to the stars. We are connected to the stars. We awaken to that. And the higher aspects of the guides and certain archangels that we are connected to, things like that. That's why I was sharing. Any of these higher energies, they're not apart from us. We give them names, and many times we get caught in stories that we have heard in the world, and we put that in the box. Don't do that. Allow that higher energy to reveal to your mind what it is. Then we will sense it for ourselves. Now, all of this I'm going to share how it works at the level of living as consciousness. It's very different from living as form. Very different. Pure liberation. I'll tell you that for sure. Pure liberation. So this, hold this. That's why. So these tantric practices that are just coming up, the inner doors open. So for me, it was like this Kashmir Shaivism, like these secret, ancient practices opening up. Those doors open up. You're able to access and you're able to bring that gift uniquely as you into this world. That is the invitation. Right? So, for the Kundalini, this thing, if it resonates and if you're playing with that, why not believe that? It's already happening. And allow this process of transformation to be joyful. So, snake energy, dragon energy, same thing. Snake, as we have really seen, a lot of symbolic teachings, metaphysical teachings. If you look at it, one of the most important symbols that can come to mind is that Ouroboros. It's the same sign of the cycle of life at the level of the relative experience, right? Everything is a cycle. The mind lives its own nature, and then when it's done with it, right? That's when ours, they say, life feeds itself. Everything, it feeds itself. It eats. There's nothing else. Consciousness only eats its own self. And the experience of that eating at every level is different. That's all it is. So Ouroboros is the sign of that. The snake eating the tail. From the mystic's point of view, that cycle is what we have moved into at a larger point. That's the portal that's opening. Right? For 2024 till about 25, 7 years, whatever. Again, it doesn't matter. From the awakened self, every moment is that. Right? So that we need to be grounded in that first and foremost. Right? Then we can play with the future, all of that. So that is the Ouroboros, right? That's the thing. Again, we know the Kundalini is shown as the snake, right? Because it is symbolic for the energy that is rising, right? Otherwise, when she went, this is so beautiful, right? This was the visual, like I sense into this, so beautiful. When the state of mind is deep in experiencing a certain phase, right? Like if you're living as a personal self or whatever that is. You're experiencing, right? The mind is experiencing the flavors of that. That time, the snake is coiled up in the root chakra and sitting. It's like the dragon mother. She's experiencing that, so she's settled. She's breathing. She's not flying anywhere. She doesn't need to. She's experiencing that. the snake energy, right, the kundalini rising up. I also want to bring it back to my mythology, right? I always do that because it's so amazing when you start opening up and you really see that what you thought was a myth, what you thought were these fantasy stories or all these which is not true, right? The personal mind lives with its facts, naturally so because of its 5 senses. Realize, oh my God, what the mythological stories we're speaking about is truer reality, simply brought in the form of stories, giving it forms. They're energies. The snake that is the 1,000-headed snake, let me say. Some of them, they sometimes show it as 5-headed, 10-headed, everything is symbolic for the state of mind that is seeing it. All our stories are simply a reflection of our state of mind, right? So this is what they're speaking about symbolically. As energy rises at the level of the body, right? Because there are multiple levels you can look at it as, perceive it from. So this energy that is rising, this snake, that energy that rises up. And then when the energy is as this snake, which is just a simple snake with its head at the base of the neck, okay, and this is when we perceive this at the level of matter, right? We look at the level of matter, then we look at the brain. But what the brain and the body, everything, is simply reflecting the vibration of the mind, which is consciousness. So that is why this is the direct path. Instead of looking at what is manifest, look at what I am is. What is the nature of mind? That's direct path. Because everything is reflective of that. So when you feel into this, this is the snake energy that comes in. It's at the base here. This is where the amygdala, the snake is just there. When the snake, the cobra snake, right, is like this, the amygdala with its 2 eyes, it lives its identity as a person. And its experience of that living at that point then, as the personal separate self, is all of this, right? It lives as the 5 senses, it's experiencing everything from that limited perspective that allows for that experience, right? And that's why we say, if you've lived at any time, unless you're one of those rare beings who woke up all awakened and alive, if you've lived any time as a personal separate self, we will experience the flavors of what we put a name to, called as fear. But it's basically limitation. Because we believe we are the body, we are living and seeing the world only at the level of 5 senses. So it's there. Then as energy rises, we are awakening. This snake awakens. So this is the snake up, and this, so you'll see that's why it awakens, and that's why in the brain, parts of our brain, that's why you see, in science when they do this thing, they say when you meditate and you look at the brain, parts of the brain are lit up that are not otherwise. That is nothing but consciousness when you meditate, when you're at ease. And that is why thinking mind, right? I've shared so many practices. You don't make it bigger than what it is, right? It's like if you stay mindful, present in the now, away from thinking mind, it takes the pressure off. This masculine energy is a force when it's unconscious. Unconscious, I want to be very clear about that, okay? I'm not putting masculine energy as. When we are unconscious, simply part of the play, right? It's a force. The experience that the feminine then is not experienced, right? So, as the thinking mind eases off, naturally the balance comes and the sensing is then done. Then this awakens, the cobra, right, awakens. That's the thing. That's the energy that we feel as the dragon energy. She awakens. So then you can see there right now, however lobes we see, right? It's like the 5 lobes are the 5-headed snake. Then you also see as the 10-headed snake. And the ones who live as pure consciousness are rishis, are yoga rishis, and I think that is why they had symbolized this as stories as the 1,000-headed Adi Sesha, Sheshanaga. Living that which we already are, an awakened body, mind, world, and celebrating this great awakening that we are experiencing as we walk through our world. See that, because when we see that, look for that, it's everywhere, because reality is not outside of ourselves. It reflects back to us, it arises from within us. That's the invitation of these times. So much, much love, and grateful for being. That is appearing and unfolding as a becoming. Have a beautiful day and the year ahead. See you next time.